Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of For the Most Part Podcast. Don't mind the setup, we're in a slightly different area. We out and about doing the people's work. So you all need to understand that we out here, we busy, we doing what we have to do. The guest that I have is one of the coolest and my bestest of friends. She's one of the homies, as we will say. Her name is Cherysh. Correct. Actress and good dancer. How many people know that can sing, can act, and can dance? And she's also a current member of TPAC as well.
Yeah, Tobago Performing Company.
Tobago Performing Arts. One side. So as much as we start in this episode kind of all happy and bubbly, I think Cherysh and I had a very serious conversation prior to this about artists' mental health or creators' mental health in general, and watching a lot of how a lot of these creatives just, they're committing suicide or getting caught up on drugs. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like as if they've lost their way. Would you say that? And what would you say is one of the things that's causing, that whole dynamic? Does COVID have anything to do with it?
I would say yes, COVID did have and I can use myself as an example. Straight off, COVID shut. I think because we are so used to always being on the go, like always in a rehearsal, always running a quick jam session just to get some chords or something. And we don't stop, and I think that COVID forced us to stop. All the extrovertedness that would come out when we're performing, there was no outlet. Everybody was having their little at home sessions, but that's not the same as the actual live audience in front of you. And I think also the feeling of not creating will make you feel like a failure.
Right.
So that's in essence, that's when the whys pop up, and it's like, why is this happening? Why is this? I don't feel like this don't make sense, like why I was doing this in the first place. But I think it also allowed for a lot of introspection for artists as well. A lot of people found a new sound for themselves, a new niche for their artistry. So in some ways, as much as COVID did have a heavy kind of a dark cloud over a lot of creatives, most of us have been able to make lemonade out of the lemons, So I don't know if you have any similar experience to that as well.
I mean, I think, we could all agree that COVID really did us, or hit us for six, as we always say. We actually have gone through several bouts of depression, and that's not a bad thing to talk about. And I think that people should understand that, that these are the things that happen. We are creators, and we need to be out there doing and really being engaging with the audience. For example, especially with this podcast, we even though, yes, sometimes we do virtual interviews, it's still hard because the vibe is not there because you're not here physically. The energy is not 100% the same. And that's something that really takes a toll on us, I would say. And for some odd reason, we're seeing a lot of these young creators really diving off the stage, and I'm sorry to say it like that, but they're literally, losing their way and getting involved in all sorts of things that they think. And as you say, as you rightly said, it's an outlet, a different kind of outlet, because they won't get into perform as regularly. They're not making enough money. They're not connecting with the audience. They're not making the same amount of sales. So. Yeah. I would say, I would agree for sure. Now, I mean, everybody would have seen the whole Aaron Carter situation that went down. I mean, we're not here to report on that. But I think that is something that's critical to raise an awareness to the people. He is one of us, Everybody knows Aaron Carter. Everybody knows him.
Well, at least the millennials will know Aaron Carter. And I just
Yeah. Yeah.
too familiar with who he is, but yeah, he was a whole generation. She had a whole generation of kids following his music, but
Yeah.
I didn't even know, like, when the news came out about what happened to him. I didn't even know that he was struggling to that extent. I didn't even know that he had a sibling that passed away for similar circumstances. A sister, I believe. So all those things, you know.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. The other thing is that a lot of these, I would say, these creatives are, they don't know when they dive off the stage. You'll notice something that you'll probably see a change in behavior, a change in eating habits, so little things like that.
Yeah.
But it would be obvious to you that there is some kind of struggle. What advice would you say, to anybody in this sphere? We out here now. COVID kind of, I would say, ease us up, but the public spaces are now open. What would you say to these creators in terms of how to now readjust? Because some of us, we get used to being away from people now.
I'll break it down to two sections. From a creative standpoint and from a personal standpoint. From a creative standpoint, ease yourself back into it. Like, start to put out videos, start to put out reels. TikTok has so much variety as far as performances go. Like, you can do your piece as somebody can do it with you. So you can gradually get yourself back into some form of communication musically with other artists, and just in general. I cannot speak for the in-person contact. Like, I know that a lot of small spaces like Cafe Blue, they started doing the live sessions. There's a couple other places on the east side that started doing sessions as well. But pace yourself, pace your music. And like the social media has, like I said just now, has made it easier for us to communicate without being in person, and that's how there was still so much fruition coming out of COVID for artists. But just gradually use social media to your advantage. Gradually get back into it. Post the videos, then do a couple gigs, and then gradually you will find yourself being back into that band aspect. From a personal standpoint, I think now more than ever, artists really need to ground themselves in some form of spirituality. Like, it doesn't need to be Catholicism, it doesn't need to be Hindu, it doesn't need to be Muslim. Any form of peace, mental peace that you can create for yourself. Like, you really need to ground yourself. You have so much heavy energies all over, and a lot of people are coping with by using substances, by just isolating themselves completely. Like, acknowledge some form of spirituality, and acknowledge when they need to take a break. Like, the serious thing. And I know it have a significant amount of people that are, especially the younger artists coming up, team no sleep. Please sleep. Team no sleep. Yeah, that team, I understand, and I have done the team no sleep, and it grinding, and you're not sleeping at all, and it's whole weekend you're up because you're doing this show. I've done it, and as much as I have the blessings and the rewards, I can look back on it and be grateful for how far it pushed me. At the same time, sleep.
Yeah,
it's necessary. Like, stay hydrated, take care of yourself, exercise, eat fruits, eat veggies. And I know that this is something that we've all been hearing since we were small. But imagine, like, remember how punishment used to be go and sleep? Now we're looking at that as like a reward. But well done. So take those breaks, take care of yourself, acknowledge when you need to take a break and just rest. Like, rest is so important. And most important, get into a therapy program. It's have endless ones that are free through community health services. If you can't afford it, there are private sector therapists that you can go to, but get a therapist. Like, it helps so much. Things that you think you deal with from way before years, like when you're a child, all of a sudden will just pop up in your adulthood and you want to know, why am I crying this? Why is this happening? Why am I so angry that you just take this from me? Like, we have so many coffers. The coffers of our mind, those cobwebs, they hold those little pockets of stuff that happen that we don't really pay attention to until we get triggered in real time.
Cherysh just took us to church. Cherysh just took us to church. That's the end of the sermon. But on that note, you mentioned social media. Now, there is always a positive for social media. I want to explore a little bit the negatives because I've seen some stuff. And I mean, I guess, yes, people are free to be politically correct and whatever. But to what extent? Like, how do we know that what's being said online is being monitored? And how do we know it's not affecting someone? What do you think?
I think it's always good to fact check the sources that you're getting the information from.
Right.
So let me just think of some like general definite sources like Huffington Post, E-News to some extent, NPR, like those sites, like, especially when it's something political, it's something that has like world news, then in other words, pay attention to where it gets your information from, because you would hate to be repeating something from an unknown source or a biased source, and then you become part of that bracket that creates the problem.
Right. Wow. And I would agree, because there are so many, especially in the last 2 years, I would say specifically the last 2 years throughout the COVID pandemic, you'll see, I mean, and I'm not trying to get political, but you'll see like the left and right wing, like we've seen the vast and very strong divide between political views and personal views of people who blocking who and who bad talking who and who saying what and who put up stuff on Facebook. And I have seen also recently too some TikTok videos of people, like, sometimes people would be looking at little hints, and I don't know, there's this Facebooker, I'll see if I could find her. She always does these video analysis and always talks about people who they look like something is wrong in their videos, and they're either shouting out for help or something like that. And I mean, we can all be overlooking that and just overthinking it, and it could literally just be that these people making this kind of content, but that's also something that we can look for as well.
Yeah.
So go ahead. You were gonna say something.
No, I was just gonna say, like, the word influencer has gotten so blurred that you don't really know who for real or who just on garbage constantly. I mean, there are those that you can clearly say, okay, I'm not gonna follow you, but there are others that would make those in-between jokes that you wouldn't really check up on right away, but when it's repeated, it's like, wait, hold on, what did you just say?
Yeah. Very true. What now? I mean, we spoke about advice before, but what more advice would you say you can give to especially the younger ones, because there are more young people, more 15 and 16-year-olds on the socials. What advice would you give to them in terms of generally, one, yes, for social media, focus on how to manage and that sort of thing, but two, engaging with people physically and in person?
Engaging, have a boundary. Make sure and set your boundary firsthand so that no one will get comfortable using certain speech with you, as well as don't let social media be the do all and end all. Like, give yourself breaks in between, like time yourself. Give yourself an hour after school, or hour lunchtime, or half an hour, 15 minutes lunchtime, and then give yourself a little break. because adults can't even do this sometimes. Like taking a break from social media. I remember the last time when Instagram went down and it's like everybody was going insane. They couldn't function. So
as well as WhatsApp too, you know, all the other
same thing on WhatsApp. Everybody was going nuts. So allow yourself to set your boundaries with any situation, especially if you're meeting new people for performance reasons, and allow yourself to take some time off of social media just to regroup and reset.
Wow. Cheers for the, you know, cheers for the Cherysh. It's always so very enlightening talking to Cherysh. I think we will just wrap that one right there, guys. Cherysh, plug your stuff, tell people where they can find you. Also, if TPAC has anything that we could look forward to, any dates, if you can't give out names for shows and stuff, you know.
Well, I can't say anything for TPAC yet, but do look out for the company next year. We have a lot of things planned, a lot of cultural things planned, so just follow the page on Instagram or Facebook, Tobago Performing Arts Company, and you'll get the notifications for all of the events, all of the performances that we have coming up. As for me, I am in a rebranding process right now, so I don't have anything on the profile yet, but do start following me, Cherysh with a Y on Instagram.
So you have your baking.
Oh yes, and I do have I forgot that. So I do have a pastry business, Cherry's Pastry House on Instagram, and I will have a Christmas menu coming out really soon for Trinidad this time, because I'm coming home for Christmas this month of December. So Trinidad, I'm sorry I neglected you all for a couple of months, but I'm gonna have the Trinidad orders coming up really soon.
Awesome, great. Well, ladies and gents, that's it for this week's episode. Cherysh, thanks for your time. Thanks for being this. It's always a fun time. Yeah, it's always a fun time talking with Cherysh. Guys, that's it. We plug all of Cherish's social media in the description below, and follow Cherry's Pastry House, please. Anybody in Tobago, please pray for all with Cherysh. You know, we helping creatives help creatives, you know what I mean? And Trinidadians, when Cherysh releases the Christmas menu, listen to me, all the Trinidadians. Please, all your order. Understand what I is saying, right? That's all I have to say. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and we will see you all, and we will hear you all on the next one. Peace out, guys.